Sit back and relax while I listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, we're going to start a deeper dive into Adeptus Titanicus by starting to go over different Legios. The plan from here on out is to do 4 Legios per episode. So in this particular episode, we're going to go through Tempestus, Mortis, Krytos, and Fureans. Now, this particular recording was the second part of another recording we have. So for hobby, news, all that kind of stuff, that was last week's episode. You listened to any of that. For this one, we're just going to go straight into it. And now, on to the show. All right, I think we should get on to Titanicus, because otherwise we're going to go down Star Wars for a while. And I'm fine with that, but we'll do that on a separate episode.
Go down the hole of cannibalism, Jesus. All right, let's do this.
All right, so our plan is, last episode we went through and we did the various maniples out of the Traitor Legios book, which did cover all the maniples that at the time of this recording have been released. What we want to start doing now is we want to start going through the different Legios. Now, we're going to do this in book order because that's just easiest, both if you wish to follow along, but also to make sure that we don't miss anything. We're going to start what we decided. Little look behind the curtain. What we decide is we're aiming for 6 to do tonight. We're each going to take 2 as the main person who talks a little bit about their lore, reads through their rules, and all of that. The kind of main person to discuss. And then other people obviously chime in. We can have a discussion about it. But this way, there's one person attempting to read it. We have split the first 6 Legios amongst ourselves, with the caveat being that we're not going to talk about our own Legios when they come up. So, as anyone who listens is very well aware, Dan plays Fureans, I play Legio Volpa. They're 2 of the ones that we're discussing tonight. So we're not going to be the main people to talk about those, because 1, we did that in a previous episode, and that would kind of feel like just rehashing exactly the same sort of thoughts, at least to begin with. And 2, at least me personally, I think a lot of times where you gain real knowledge is not from what you know about it, but when you hear someone who is on the other side of it talking about it. So what does your opponent think? How does it come across to the other players? What do they think is the strong or the weak point, or how good or bad do they feel it is? So oddly enough, I think for both of those Legios, Steve is going to be the one who talks about that. But we're just going to go through this.
Yep.
So we're going to start with Legio Tempestus, and that's going to be me. If I miss any important things, of course, let me know. But so these guys are also known as the Stormlords. They essentially were given that name because of the way in which they enter battle. It's actually explained in the book. And like I said, we're on page 1819 where this starts. It's explained in there that the way they would drop their Titans in, or the locations they would drop them in, most other Legios would never even attempt it. This is a Legio that got its start on Mars long ago. They had both a loyal and a traitor component. So essentially they had their Legio Master, Indus Cavallero, who was a strong Mars supporter. They were going out, going through the Crusades and all, and they realized at one point that a lot of their Titans needed repairs, and they couldn't do them out there. So he took a portion of the forces back. He left one of his princeps, Maximus Carana, to keep essentially marching forward. Through once the schism occurred, so once you had the Mechanicus and Dark Mechanic, or however you want to call it, essentially the traitors and the loyalists.
When the death of innocence happens.
Ah.
What a badass name.
That is actually a really good name. When that happened, the main Legio, or the leader of the Legio, Indus, was on Mars at the time. They stayed loyal, whereas Maximus went traitor. Now, it turns out, if you read through this, and this is actually kind of interesting. Where's the crazy word they use? He apparently had went a little Nostradamus on everything. He was using past difficulties and how exactly they put it? He essentially had looked at past problems and was trying to predict the future. There's teleologically
yeah.
Yeah, it's the last paragraph of chapter on page 19 gives this. Here's where they put it. It's a form of arcane numerology purported to predict imminent and all-consuming doom through patterns found in past cataclysms. So he looked at the past, saw horrible events of the past, and said that's going to predict something about the future. Doing all of this, he decided to side with Horus. The parts that stayed loyal ended up being destroyed. The parts on Mars. His part ended up surviving, although there were still loyal pockets in there, which he saw as, this horrendous thing and went to stomp them out and everything like that. So the only main part remaining now is just the traitor component. That's why they're in this book. We'll go a little bit through the rules, and like I said, they give you about a page, a little bit extra than a page, about a page and a half on the fluff for each of these, and then they give a bit about their martial strength, what type of titans they have, approximate numbers and all. And it's a good read. I have to say, I haven't sat down to read Legios that weren't my own, but reading through them, yeah, it's a lot of fun to look at. So we'll start with their rules. So Legio traits, they have 2 Legio traits. The first one is glory and death. The one thing they mention in the fluff is essentially that what the loyal part did, what Indus and those loyal to him did, is, more than will ever be found out through any of the stories and all that's told, because we don't necessarily know enough about it, but essentially very honorable right into the end. And their rules sort of fit that. I found it a little bit odd that their rules fit that more as a traitor legion, when it almost feels like it's a little bit more of a loyalist sort of viewpoint on this. But so this is the glory and death rule. Before making a catastrophic damage roll for Legio Tempestus Titan, so right before it dies, controlling player can make a command check for the Titan. If you pass it, they can make an attack with 1 weapon, and at your own choosing. And if they pass it by 3 or more, so if they pass it well enough, they can make an attack with all their weapons. You subtract 1 from the hit rolls made in this way. Afterwards, you do the catastrophic damage table. So they will die afterwards, but you do get, if you pass the check, you get 1 shot. If you pass it well, 3 or more, you can actually fully fire your Titan before it's destroyed. It's at a -1, but a lot of these sorts of things are at -1s anyway. I really like that. I think that's a seemingly very strong trait, because one of the rougher things in this game is if you get destroyed before you even get a chance to fire in that round. Go ahead.
So it is a cool thing. I always keep in the back of my mind, I haven't done this yet, but the original campaign mode for Titanicus, right?
Yeah.
Was essentially the way that Battlefleet Gothic campaigns used to work. You had a roster of Titans that would take damage, and you track the damage game to game, and you could, spend whatever currency it was, points, credits, whatever it is, to repair the ships, or in this case, your Titans, right? But if they're destroyed, they're stricken from the roster. Maybe your crew survives. You could salvage pieces of the Titan, but it's not, it's not the same Titan anymore.
Yeah.
This rule is one of those rules that only triggers after essentially you've failed in a sense, right? Like you failed to keep your Titan alive. Here's a consolation prize. Don't get me wrong, it makes some really badass moments. But it's a rule you almost never want to use. Sorry, you never want the opportunity to use the rule.
Yeah.
How about that? Does that make sense?
You don't want it, yeah. It's a rule you don't want to use. You hope that you don't have to use it. But let's be realistic. You're going to.
It's nice to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a campaign, maybe that's a different story, because sometimes in campaigns, maybe you have ways for your Titans to leave, or it's going to matter what happens next, so maybe you're really trying to save them. But in a normal game, you might look at it, hey, this guy, he took a lot of fire. There's no chance of making out of here. At least I get a chance to shoot, even if they take me down first. And it might cause a little bit of priority targets or prioritization for your opponent, depending on when they want to kill it, or if they're going to end up necessarily killing it right then, or anything like that. From the ones I see, it's nice. The only thing is, it's a roll, and if it's, say, one of your smaller Titans, if it's a Warhound, That's not necessarily great odds that they're going to make it. It's what, then 60% or so? Like,
Literally
on your
60%. Yeah.
yeah, on your Princeps, sure. Your Princeps should make it. Now, if you roll that one, you're going to feel real bad, especially if you didn't shoot yet that turn. But on anything else, there's a chance that you fail. So I do like it. I would have liked it more if it was you got one no matter what, and then maybe you need to pass by a certain amount to get the extra all in. But it's at least a cool trait. I can see that you'll use it because you're going to lose Titans in this game. The other Legio trait they have is this Fury of the Machine. Once per battle, when firing a weapon, a Legio Tempestus Titan that has 1 or more points of critical damage may add 1 to the strength value of that weapon. The weapon must have a strength value of 4 or more, so you can't use it on anything too small. And the strength value cannot be increased above 10. It can be used in conjunction with Glory and Death. So if it's a once per round, and if you haven't used it that round, when you're about to die, you can absolutely use it then. So once per round, as long as you've taken some critical damage, one of your weapons is at 1 higher strength. When I read their rules, again, to me, it kind of feels more, and maybe this is because of their origin or not, it kind of feels like that they're, fighting to the last, never giving up sort of thing, which plays more into the fluff of the ones that remain loyal than not. But I guess there's not that much of a distinction between the two sides, in terms of that point. But again, I think it's a nice rule. You're getting it when you're not doing well, because you're getting a bunch of critical damage, and depending on what that damage is, it could be greatly hampering you. But let's face it, you're going to get damaged. So you're at least getting to use your ability. All right. They have one stratagem, combat drop. Has to be it's 3 stratagem points to do this. You choose a Titan scale 7 or lower to keep it in reserve, and then it comes in by a combat drop. You place it anywhere on the battlefield more than 3 inches away from an enemy unit, and then it scatters. If it scatters into a piece of terrain, it stops before and takes D3 plus 2 strength 9 hits. Void shield saves are allowed, which I get. That makes sense. I guess it's hitting the void shield first. If after it scatters, it overlaps another model, move its shortest distance, and then it causes a collision, so it doesn't get removed or anything like that. Oh no, sorry, there it is. There's the last line. If its base overlaps that of a unit with a scale equal to or greater. So if you hit someone smaller, collision. If it's greater than or equal, the Titan is destroyed. Just remove it, and the other one takes a collision. And it cannot be activated. A Titan that arrives in this way cannot be activated in the strategy or movement phase in the round it arrives, because it comes in the start of the strategy phase. Scale 7 or less. That's
Warhounds and the ED209. What's that one called? I keep blanking on it.
What was it? Borker.
That's not its name
either. Porker.
That's definitely not its name.
No, but it's going Borker.
That's definitely not its name.
Shit. The war. It's war something, right? It's gotta be a war something. Everything's a war something except the Reaver.
We're good at this game. We can't remember what shit's called.
Well,
and you know what's crazy? It's not on their main site. Oh, is it on?
Has not been released.
No, it has not been. Yeah, because everyone else is too. What size is a Warbringer? Is a Warbringer 8?
The Warbringer is 9.
9, yeah.
Okay. He's a 9.
Reaver is 8.
Reaver's
the Artillery Warhound is a 7.
Okay. So essentially you get to bring in Warhounds. For 3 points, you can bring them in anywhere. It's okay. It's expensive.
No,
Dan
will disagree. Okay, Dan's gonna really fight you on this.
All right.
I think it's an amazing thing, because here's the thing. Okay, so you drop a Warhound, right? You drop a Warhound, and you can do this at any turn in the game, right? So you can do this turn 2 if you want. Drop a Warhound. You can literally drop them in such a way where, if you get lucky, of course, I think it's a 1/3 chance to not scatter. Scatter,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Um, your warlord will actually never be able to attack the warhound from if it's attacking you from behind. Literally never. You don't have enough turns to actually face the warhound. The only way to do it is to actually use the trait, the Princeps trait to turn 40 Swift Killer to turn
Yeah.
45 when you're attacking. But if you stick this behind a warlord, it literally cannot fire at you ever.
Man.
Did someone do this
So
to you?
it dropped behind my. Yes, it did. It dropped
There
down my
may be
warlord.
photographic evidence.
Yes, dropped behind my warlord. I realized mathematically I could not turn around quick enough to kill it, so I just kept walking forward, laying down fire. It took him 2 turns, the turn he dropped, and then the next turn to just kill the warlord, because he was underneath the shield. He was underneath the shield.
Pew pew.
Yeah, it just and he had plasma cannons. Um, it's just
If I remember
it was.
correctly, you tried to save your warlord by backing him against the ruined
Yes, I
Krytos
did
base
eventually.
elevator,
That was
right?
the second turn. I did try to back it up
Yep.
against a wall, but by that point, it had already been so damaged from the initial volley of plasma cannon. Because the 2 strength 10 hits to the rear are strength 12, you know, um, and it hit my body. So strength 12 to the body hit 4 times. Already damaged it enough, and then in the Vulcan he targeted the Vulcan Mega Bolter in just to
Mhm.
get some pips in. But by the time he already hit my side with the +1 damage, I was already at +3. So the Vulcan Mega Bolter was hitting me on strength 8.
Wow.
Side +3. Yeah, it was. It's hard to plan against, and it's a very good tactic if you need it. It is expensive. It is expensive.
It's a strat to use in a larger game.
Yes.
Yes.
And
In
And
a
I think it's going to
smaller
work better.
game, you're going to miss having the body on the table to start,
yeah.
Yes.
and it's a big investment of your stratagem points
I
because
will
in
say
a
that
small game, that's all your points.
I will say I
Okay.
think it's going to work better with the Porker Borker. I literally don't know his name. I keep forgetting his
I'm gonna
name, but I'm
look
just
it
going to
up
keep calling him
because
Porker
it's
Borker.
not Porker Borker. That is definitely not his name. It's on what Forge World, right?
If only they released the. Yeah, but it's not released yet.
Yeah, it's not released yet. It's Warhammer Community.
If it was released
Uh,
yet, Dan and I would have them in front of us to
oh,
build and
absolutely. I
talk
would.
about.
Yes, I love that model. I know people hate it. I love it. It's so
I
cute.
love it.
Um, but yeah, no, it works with the Porker Borker, and the Porker Borker only has it has really skinny guns, but it carries a Reaver weapon on the top. So, like,
Including the neutron laser, which we have not seen before.
yes. So yeah, no,
We don't know
100%.
what that does.
It is expensive, but here's the thing. I know Steve's gonna talk about Legio Fureans. So is my stratagem, and I take it all the time.
Your stratagem is very
So it,
strong.
it is, but I
This
think this one.
absolutely can
It can be.
be up there. If you happen to catch a Titan that's isolated,
I
it's
think a
gonna
warlord.
struggle
I think a
because
war,
this plays into the strength of Warhounds,
does a
which is their
warbringer.
maneuverability.
Yeah, stupid question. Does a warbringer have 2 turns or three? I'm sorry. How many turns does a warlord have? It's one. It's one, right?
Warlord has one base push for two.
Yeah.
How
One to
how many
two.
does
A
a warbringer
Reaver
have?
has two base push for three.
Yep.
How about a
I'm
warbringer?
not sure what a
Uh,
Warbringer has because it's like half of
Because
a Reaver
I'll
and
try to bring
half
it
of a
mathematically,
up.
Warlord.
if a warbringer has only 1 turn push for two, then it's got the same problem a warlord's gonna have. We're
Yep.
just not going to do anything. I like it.
I see this as I think you have to decide based off of the makeup of your opponent's army. Yes, I agree. Bigger
Yeah.
game, it's more useful. But if your opponent is bringing smaller, more agile titans, it's not going to do you any good. If they're not, though, if they're bringing a lot of these big slow movers, oh, absolutely. Um,
Scenario games. This could also be very good in certain
oh, very
scenarios
very
too.
true. Yeah,
Like if you have like a like a controlled sector of the table thing, you could drop this in. Even if all it does is distract your opponent for a turn and have, two Titans turn to, deal with it. That's two less Titans on the rest of your army. So in scenario play, this also has pretty good value, I feel.
no, I agree. I think it can absolutely do a lot.
I think at 2, it's an absolute steal. So
Yes.
3's the right price. Because situationally, it's insanely good.
Yes.
So I personally believe that when you're costing things, you cost them for those situational cases, or else those situations are going to end up being your typicals.
Very true.
If that makes any sense.
So a Warbringer is 2 push for 3 turns.
Okay, so it's Reaver agility.
Yeah, it's Reaver agility. A little bit slower than a Reaver, but Reaver turn ability to turn. Yeah, less than Reaver speed, but Reaver agility. The worker Borker, whatever you call it, it's the Direwolf Heavy Scout Titan. So it's a Direwolf.
Direwolf.
Yeah,
that's why I couldn't remember. It didn't have war in it.
No.
No wonder I couldn't remember.
Yeah. He's a chunky little boy. He will be very... Yes, I think when he's released, I would be a lot more positive on this. Not that I'm negative on it. I think it's the kind of thing of, oh, it did really great against me. So, man, it's super awesome. But if you had played that game, you brought him in, and you just, slagged him off the table immediately, you'd be like, yeah, no, I saw that. It wasn't any good. I think with him, it becomes a lot stronger because now you can have a very good weapon sitting on top.
I think do you have the neutron laser in front of you? Did it tell you what the neutron laser does?
I don't.
Not
unless it's on this page.
Article.
I thought it was on the page.
It was in the article. It's the weapon they give you. Yeah.
For his carapace option, they listed as 45 points. The neutron laser, short range 30, +1 accuracy, long range 60, 1 die, strength 7. It is a bypass, carapace, draining, and shock.
Oh, shock.
Yeah.
And bypass. So you drop behind. This actually gets you past the biggest weakness of the direwolf.
Oh,
because
wow.
it immediately puts you behind your target.
Yes.
So bypass means that strength 7 is effectively strength 9 if you get behind your target.
Yep.
Sorry. So, dropping gets you up to strength 9. Bypass means you ignore the shield. Shock means that if right, it's the same thing as the claws in the Warhound, right?
Yes.
If you do damage on like a 3 up, you shut the Titan down. If you don't on a 6, you shut the Titan down, I think. I might have the first number wrong, but 6s will always shut the Titan down. I know that.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but yeah, that's what it does.
It's a nice pairing.
Well, a strength 9 hit is bad. The ability to shut down a Titan, especially like a Warlord Titan. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
4 up.
Oh, 4 up.
4 up.
Oh,
it's a 4 up.
Yeah.
If it causes
damage,
a direct, devastating, or critical hit, it's a 4 up.
With a strength 9, you'll be doing.
Well, you just have to get anything through. You get anything through, you got it. Don't roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1. Jesus.
Some spots it might be like a 2 or a 3.
Even if you do roll a 1 on a 6, it still works.
Doesn't list that under shock. I don't see that.
Yep. Are you looking in the trader book?
No. I can look in the trader book. No, I was looking somewhere else. Maybe it might not be updated where I was looking.
So they update. Yeah, if you're looking at the other book, shock got updated in Loyalist and Trader Legios.
Got it. Okay.
So now if you get a superficial hit on a 6, it does something. It does
there you go.
Effect.
Yep. Yeah, they did update that since when I had looked at it. Wow. Very good.
Wow. Okay, and funnily enough, it's 30 inches, you said? So you don't even have to hot drop behind the Warlord. No. You could still do it, but you can hot drop 30. The board's not that big, but it gives you space to be within, because then you would hit it on what, 2s? What is it? It's +1 at short range, and it's 30 inches. You're hitting the thing on 2s. Yeah, no,
you can guarantee you go into a spot where you're not going to accidentally hit the thing and get destroyed.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. Porker Borker makes it a lot better. Direwolf.
Yeah, with the Direwolf, when the Direwolf's out, then yes. Then I think it's an absolutely legitimate strategy to take him. All right, so war gear wise for these guys, only one bit of war gear. Chasmata pattern laser destructors. So essentially they get better as laser destructors. Any of their Titans that have laser destructors, paired turbo laser destructors, or paired laser blasters, or laser blasters, so in any form of those, can take these. It's cost is 5 times the die value of the weapon. So if the weapons throw 6 dice, it's an extra 30 points. You have to upgrade all the weapons separately that have this. And you increase the short range characters by 6, long range by 3.
What are your thoughts? Before I say anything, what are your thoughts on this?
What are the... Let me take a look at a thing. I don't know the ranges on some of those. So let me go. It's what, in the back of this book?
So they are both short 16, long 32 by default.
Okay, all 16 by 32. 16 is
Turbo
exceptionally
lasers.
Short. Go ahead.
Yeah. Turbo lasers have no hit mods.
Yep.
Laser blasters have a -1 at long.
Yeah.
But you get the extra shot.
Yeah.
And you're looking at laser blaster. I'm looking at least on the Reaver. You're looking at 3 dice. You're looking at 15 points. Extra 6 inches. I mean, depending on what you're taking, I think it can be meaningful. I think it can be... I mean, this is a game where stuff costs so many points that saying you have a spare, 15 points, you easily probably could. But for some of the heavier weapons, when you're looking at paired ones, say you're looking at even paired laser destructors, you're only looking at 4, or paired laser blasters. In that case, when you're looking at 6 dice, now you're looking at 30 points. Especially in here, now that you have all these different things you can do with the Titans, I think that might be where it becomes a little much. But yeah, an extra 6 inches or an extra 3 on the long range, so just an extra 3 overall to the length in which you can shoot, that could absolutely make a difference in some of these.
I love this upgrade.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it makes the laser blaster... I hate the laser blaster. Because 16 inches and past, you're taking a penalty to hit. Yeah. And it sucks, right? Dan, don't mention Fureans. We're not talking Fureans. But getting that extra 6 inches on the short to 22 without the penalty makes it actually a viable weapon in my book. So I think this is a fantastic option if you have laser blasters.
If you're doing laser blasters with this, which won't be that much, you actually could be having decent turn 1 shots even. With 16 inch, you're going to...
And laser blasters make a better use out of shield bane than turbo lasers do. Because it's more dice. And with this, you're not taking that penalty at the longer ranges. On a Reaver chassis, it's more able to take the heat for it. So I think that this is a fantastic option. That takes some of my least favorite weapons in the game. Like, these really are my least favorite weapons in the game. And it makes them into something that's actually worth putting on the table.
No, I can see that. Absolutely. I still think it's something you want to... I mean, you always have to watch your points and see what you're spending them on. But I think, especially, like you said, on a Reaver chassis, I think it's a really good option. Because also, I think that's a lot of times, at least when I take, laser blaster or anything like that, that's where I put them. My Warlords usually have other dedicated weapons or other things I want to put on them. But my Reavers, a lot of times, that might be one of the weapons. And I might be trying to get them up close. Here's a weapon now. At least I can actually get reasonable shots on you early. There are rounds where I'm trying to at least maybe take down your shields. But I like it overall. And it's not too expensive. You should be able to fit. If you really want that, if you enjoy using any of those weapons, you could probably upgrade at least one. For their personality traits, I'll just go through those really fast. They give it a D3 roll. Just choose. Always just choose. Rolling's terrible. Adamantium Resolve. Once per battle, when Princeps fails a command check, they can just choose to pass it instead. Not bad. Stormborn. While the Princeps Senioris is on the battlefield, the Titan with the same mana pool, including that particular Princeps Senioris' Titan, issued the charge order, may declare power to locomotors without pushing its reactor. Not bad. And that's while they're on there. Defiant Warrior. If the Princess Senioris Titans has Void Shield level X, may reroll any hit rolls of 1 when making an attack. So if they remove all your Void Shields, you get to reroll your 1s on your attacks.
That's nice.
Yes. I think overall, the main the main list is a pretty good list. Of these three, if I had to say which one might I take instead, it might be that one. Because sooner or later, you're not going to have your shields. They want that Titan dead. Rerolling your ones to hit, that's actually really big. Especially if you're in spots where you're getting any pluses on those. Then you're essentially almost always auto-hitting. Stormborn isn't bad either. Being able to get the free power to locomotives when charging.
I have a silly idea.
What's that?
The Giant Warrior, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you put this on your Warlord Titan, right?
Yep.
And you run him in a Regia Maniple. So your Warlord, oh no, you knocked out my shields. Too bad I have these Warhounds I can share shields with.
Yeah. Let his shields go down first.
Yep. Or you do it in what's the one we talked about where all Titans could share shields? The Fortis?
I think it's Fortis. I'd have to actually look.
Yeah.
This could also be interesting in Fortis because you let the one collapse go, oh no, anyway, I'm re-rolling my ones. And you do that with, the weapons that really count, and that's nice. Because like I've mentioned before, re-rolls are not a common thing in this game. There's no spend a command point to re-roll that one miss, There is no I'm within 6 inches of my captain and it's a Tuesday, so I re-roll all the dice I want to.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Like I said, the first one, meh. Stormborn I like if you are building out Titans that you want to rush up in close combat, and we could have a whole separate discussion of whether or not you should ever try to close combat your stuff. But any other thoughts from you gentlemen on Legio Tempestus?
Ooh, Stormborn paired with Warhounds.
Yeah.
To generate potentially 4 extra dice. That could be fun.
Yeah.
No, I think that there's some fun stuff you could do. One of the players in the campaign I was running was Tempestus, so I got to see the laser destructors in practice. It definitely made them viable because I was watching him where he was playing against our Eldar player, which was counting as a Black Shield list with certain combinations of weapons, right?
Got it. Yeah.
And at the time, he was counting, I think, his pulse lances or whatever they are as turbo lasers. And he went, wow, I'm being outranged. This is not good because I'm being kited. And then, it closed in and everything just collapsed because that extra bit of range let him get those preliminary shots off, putting him that slight early advantage. The extended range on laser blasters made them so much more viable because they were actually landing hits. So definitely a good Legio if you're okay running laser blasters everywhere. Disco Reavers love this. Disco Reavers absolutely love this Legio, I think.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Disco Reavers are 2 laser blasters and a turbo laser. It's only going to cost you an extra 40 points, but you're getting decent value out of that. Those 40 points. Remember, in this game, you could end up with 130 points just sitting around like I don't know what to do with this.
If you don't want to throw some Questoris Knights to fill out your list, you will have points for this and some other of the special upgrades that they give either traitors or loyalists. Because I find that's what I always have. I have enough to throw in like a small set of Questoris, or I could just beef out my Titans. Here's a great way to beef out your Titans. All right. If there's no
Honestly,
other thoughts, go ahead.
It's the war gear that makes it for me. It's just the war gear that makes this one for me. The other stuff is cool stuff to have. I mean, getting strength 9 on lasers is also really nice if you happen to have Fury the Machine active. I mean, when you max out all the stuff going on, right? You got strength 9 lasers with good range, re-rolling ones. If you get like all the little things adding up together on your Princeps, that could be pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
I like it. They're fun.
Yeah, you'll get to use their abilities, which is nice, and they have decent war gear you'd actually want to take. You could make an argument for taking it, which is always good. Dan, I think you have Legio Mortis.
I do. All right, so let's do some Legio Mortis. So Legio Mortis, ironically, doesn't have that much fluff in the Trader book,
No, they
mostly
don't.
because they are one of the most popular or most famous legions. It's kind of weird. Like you look at the book and like, wow, that's not a lot compared to like what the other ones. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a lot, but they are one of probably the most famous legions. I dare say probably the most famous legion in Titanicus. So Legio Mortis. Also, the cognomen is the Death Hands or Death Heads.
Death
Apologies.
Heads.
These guys have been around since the beginning of heresy. Before the heresy, during the Great Crusade, they were there during the heresy, and they actually, funny enough, are still around in 40k. In fact, very recent. I shouldn't say very recently, but a Legio Mortis Imperator Titan was killed in the fluff in one of the Iron Warrior books under Hansu. So they're still around, like
All right.
still in 40k, still going nuts. Anyway, so Legio Mortis, the fluff is essentially they're known as the Death Heads. They are definitely a little bit more bloodsheddy and horrifically violent. They're a little merciless, sinister kind of things. They're nasty. Fun fact, they at the very beginning when they were refound by the Fabricator General, they were not really loyal to the Emperor, even when they were found. And so, as not punishment, but as a way to make sure that they were being kept an eye on, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were given to the War Master because the
Bad
War
choice.
Master is obviously going to be the War Master is obviously going to be loyal to the Emperor forever and ever and ever. Biffles. So obviously, when the War Master turned, the Legio Mortis was like, "I got this." Um, and like I said, they saw. I mean, for Christ's sake, they saw combat on Istvan, I believe Istvan 3.
Yep.
They saw combat on literally the siege of. Oh, sorry, spoiler. Let me wait a second. They saw combat in the siege of Terra. Um, and oh yeah, there we go. The Imperator is oh my god.
That's why I write down
Dice
names first.
Array. Dice. I, no, I'm looking at it right now. It's Dice Array. Oh my god, Latin. This is what I get for not doing Latin since high school. Diesirae. Dice
I
Array.
went to
Yeah,
I took German in high
right.
school. I don't know any of this.
You ever heard the song, Dan, from the old Chaos Gate
Well,
game?
something with church bells in the background. This is the one that actually did die, by the way, in the 41st millennium or 40th millennium. When was that book published? I don't even know, but that one did die.
Wait, I
That was
thought the Dies Irae died at the siege, or am I totally mixing it up? I
no,
know.
it didn't die during
Okay,
the siege. It
I
actually
know
died.
that it is the Titan in the
Yes,
classic.
it actually got taken out. It got taken out in the Iron Warrior book when they invaded a when the Iron Warriors, this is in 40k, not 30k, when the Iron Warriors invaded a forge world that was actually producing gene seed uh for Space Marines, and they stole the gene seed. Yeah.
This is
This-
the warlord from the old Siege of Terra.
no, not Warlord. No, no, no. This is an
I mean,
Imperator.
sorry,
Yeah.
Imperator. It's
This
it's
is yes,
from
this is
it's in the
the
old Siege of
Imperator.
Terra lore, though, right? Like it's like
Yes,
the
yeah, yes.
Imperator.
This is
Yeah.
the Siege of Terra. Imperator Titan took down the walls of Terra kind of shit. This is these guys are famous. It's kind of like you don't need to be told about them because they're the story. Now,
Yep. And post heresy, which they end up being Nurgle boys, right?
no, I think they become corn boys, or rather, I think they just become what's the word I'm looking for? Not unsanctioned.
Undivided.
God, unaligned. I think they become
Undivided.
unaligned. Sister, undivided. Thank you. Unaligned. That was close. Yeah, no, I think they become undivided. I don't think they become Nurgle. No, because the first
I'll look
corn
it
one
up
was
while you guys are
Volpa.
going.
Yeah, the first corn one was Volpa. I know that was the first demon engine too, Volpa. Sorry about the spoilers, by the way, guys, on the story. I mean, sorry. But
I know
first,
it's a 20-year-old story. There's the
yeah, first
spoilers.
demon,
I'm
first
sorry.
demon engine, first demon engine is Volpa. I don't think Mortis became Nurgle.
Nurgle. Mortis does go to
It
Nurgle.
is Nurgle.
It is Nurgle.
Okay, then you go Nurgle. And who was? Do me a favor. It was Dice Array or These are the array that died during Hansu. I'm almost certain it died.
I don't know how to spell any of those things you just said, so I cannot look that up. But
It
we'll
Dies
worry about that later.
irate.
it dies Ire. All right, so let's talk about Legio traits in specific order. And I love this Legion, by the way. So first of all, Legio trait is Reaper's Tally. So essentially, this is what we like to call a snowball trait. Each time a Legio Mortis Titan destroys an enemy Titan, it gains the ability to reroll a single dice roll of 1 each time it makes an attack with a weapon without the melee trait. So, and these effects are cumulative. For every enemy Titan destroyed, an additional die may be rerolled. So, if my Titan kills your Titan, I now get to reroll a single die roll of 1 for the rest of the game. If he kills another Titan, I get to reroll 2 dies of 1. If I kill 3 Titans, so on and so forth. So this is a very big snowball effect. You might not get a Titan to kill more than 1 Titan, maybe more than 2. Listen, if you're killing 3 Titans with 1 dude, like, I think you already got that game in the bag.
Yeah,
but even killing 1 Titan, killing 1 Titan with a Titan and getting to reroll 1s is a big thing. As Steve said, there's very, very, very rare rerolls in this game. And the ability to reroll, oh my god, in this game, the suckiest feeling is getting that beautiful volcano shot, right into the body and rolling a 1. It's awful. But if it already had killed something, boom, just reroll a 1. You know? Excellent for a single shot, maybe double shot weapon with high strength. And again, it snowballs. But yeah, that's just a solid trait. The other Legio trait, they get 2 traits, is the State of Decay. Oh, even before the infectious rot of Nurgle took root. Oh, sorry, they did go to Nurgle. Whoopsies. Look at me. So, once per game, a Legio Mortis Titan may ignore the effects of MIU feedback, moderate a wounded, or Princeps wounded for a round. In a round that the Titan ignores these critical damage effects, it may not allocate any repair dice to its head. Each Legio Mortis Titan can use this ability once per game. I don't know. I like this one. What's funny is I've never really died to headshots before. It's mostly body shots or leg shots. Mostly because leg shots have less health but more armor. Body has less armor but more health, and head is just less health but just the highest amount of armor.
Yeah.
I haven't done that, but it's nice. You know, it's nice. And what it is okay. So you really want that order out, but your Princeps is wounded, or your MIU feedback is happening, and you don't want to repair it. You don't have time to repair it. You got to really quickly kill this Titan. Maybe because you have Reaper's Tally up and you know you're going to snowball. All right, State of Decay it. Now they get to ignore it. It's functional. It's a functional trait. It can work.
I'm underwhelmed by it.
I'm underwhelmed, but like when it works, it works. It's one of those, like, it's free. You know what I mean?
But they're all free though. Everyone gets free abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, to me, when I compare it to Tempestus, I will get those because you are going to hurt my Titans, and I don't care how you hurt them, you'll hurt them. Here, if you hurt them in a very particular way, I can not be negative. It's not bad. I would have liked maybe a little bit more. I understand why they gave it, though. It's much more fluffy than it is useful.
Hold on. Maybe you have a corrupted Titan. Remember, corrupted Titans affect your command, right? And then you get also MIU feedback. You can just ignore that critical effect and just go back to the corrupted, right? I don't know.
But you need you're looking at, though, for very particular uses.
I don't know. Maybe it's my personal experience. I rarely see head damage.
Yeah, I don't think it's that common.
Yeah.
At least not of a critical level. You might take a few, but no, if you're getting... Because as soon as you start getting good on the damage track, then you're aiming. The spot you're losing aiming is not the head.
The head, by the way. Head has the least amount of health. So if you're getting critical...
It's the shortest armor, track, but the highest armor.
Yeah.
Very true. But at that point, if you're getting critical, it's +3. Like, my Gatling blaster is going to take off your head.
Right. At that point, either you're dead or you don't care. Because honestly... I never see a tactical benefit to attacking the head. Like the legs, I slow you down, I can outmaneuver you. The body, now you're heating up and you're cooking. So I can even disable a weapon to prevent you from using it. But the head, like, I managed to maybe get a critical because it's harder to do with the heavier armor. great, your command checks have a penalty. Oh no, it's still a Titan that's mostly operational.
Yeah.
And then the next tier is, oh, you're -1 to hit. Okay, that's something, but then that's 2 critical damage you somehow have to apply. At that point, you just, get another hit or two in and kill the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see tactical benefits to attacking the head as a called shot unless you
There
randomly hit
is
the
the
head.
tertiary.
So
There is the tertiary you could
the
purchase.
headhunter one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you kill a Titan. You have to kill the Titan with
Yeah.
it, which again means that this rule isn't going to help you.
Yeah.
Like
So, yeah.
it's a nice fluff piece.
They get
like
2
Dan was
traits,
saying.
1 stratagem, 2 war gear. So let's look at the stratagem. Because, all the Legios get different things. Sometimes they get 1 trait, 2 traits, 3 traits, etc. So the stratagem, March of the Dead. I actually love this trait, by the way. So, or this stratagem. This stratagem, it's 3 points. So this is one of the heavy duty ones. This will take half of your points if you're playing 1750. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Mortis player. Play this stratagem in the strategy phase of the first round. So it's only the first round, and it's a strategy phase, which does suck if someone Vox Blackouts you. So if someone takes the Vox Blackout and you take this, sorry, you're shit out of luck. The Legio Mortis player may immediately move each of their Titans as if it was the movement phase. Now, you can't declare power to locomotors or power to stabilizers when making this move, but you immediately make a move. And the other player becomes the first player, so you cannot be first player for this. I actually enjoy this this stratagem quite a lot. Let me explain why, and then other people, you guys can kind of fill in or maybe tell me I'm an idiot. So the board is only 4x4 feet, right? Now, obviously, this may not affect the warlord that much because they only move 4 inches, right? Not that much. But a reaver. Let's look at a reaver. Let's say you have a nice, I don't know, what the hell, Corsair maniple. You got your reavers. This you play at the beginning of the game, and they don't Vox Blackout it. Every reaver now gets to move for free in the first turn. This is great for repositioning. You can get behind a building, or let's say you have a melee reaver and cough your traitors, so you have access to stuff like warp jump. You have access to corruptions. You have access to boost your motors on your legs to move faster. Let me give you, and by the way, it's not part of your maniple. You can do this with any Legio Mortis Titan. So you can technically do this with a oh god, not the gun War Masters. What's the close combat War Master called?
Iconoclast.
Iconoclast.
You use the Iconoclast. Move him up 4 inches. So deploy him as far as he goes. Move him up 4 inches with this, and move everyone else 4 inches. Right. So move him up 4 inches. Then turn 1. Move him up again and burn his engine, so he moves 6. Maybe double move him, so he moves up 6. You can give him the stratagem to now move him 8. So now he's moving 4 plus 8 is we're up to 12 inches up the board, right? You gave him a double move, so he now moves another 12 inches. This asshole just moved goddamn 24 inches up the board on turn 1. Enjoy. Like, I think it's a really powerful stratagem. You don't take it all the time, and I think Dave kind of hit the nail on the head. You take this when you look at the other other army you're playing, and you're seeing if it works, or you kind of have to sometimes build for it. Like maybe you have a double melee, you have 3 double melee reavers. You know what I mean?
This one I think you build.
But yeah,
for.
no,
If
I
you
like
want
this
it, you gotta
stratagem.
build it.
Yeah, you got to build it, but I think it's still good. It's still like if you look at someone and let's say they're taking all heavy long range weapons with a Fortis maniple, so they're gonna sit in the back and bombard you with maybe some Warhound flanking. You use this to just close the gap. What do you think, Steve?
So I've never been impressed by the Mortis rules suite.
Agreed.
I do think that your ideas are interesting with the March of the Dead. I just don't know that it's worth for the way I play the game, which granted, is my very specific way of playing the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't see the benefit of a single extra move in the scheme of, in a 4-turn game, an extra move is nice, but it's
And it's extra move for you.
I guess I guess I've never thought about the units that you're bringing up. Where I was like, Warhound's an extra move because I'm like, I get to move more. I'm used with fast units. Warhounds, let's go. I never considered it with the slow units that gain a lot from the extra distance in
So
turn 1.
take a warlord.
So I never
with,
thought about I never thought about warlords with this. It's interesting. I still don't love it.
I don't
Not
love
at
it, but
3.
it's nice.
I feel like this is one of those stratagems that does not scale equally across game sizes. In a huge game, like, sure, take it because you have a ton of points between like if like a stupid big game, you get a lot of mileage out of this. If it's like a small game, you get almost nothing out of it because 3 stratagem points when you have 12 titans, that's a quarter of a point per titan that you're paying to get an extra move. Sure, when you have 3 titans, it's a whole stratagem point per titan. Then it's poor value for money, if that's making any sense. Like it scales.
Let's say you have a 5 Reaver list, right? You have a 5 Reaver list, and almost all of them have, and let's say all 5 of them have power fists, or chain blades, whatever. You just moved all of those Reavers 6 inches up the board. Turn 1. Those 5
I think
Reavers.
that Mortis, the way like you're describing things right now, is best with a War Master because Reaper's Tally is amazing on a War Master because it's one of those titans that is able to get multiple engine kills. I feel like a lot of titans don't get the ability to kill multiple things throughout a game. Like maybe you'll get 2 kills. You're a legend if you manage to get 3 kills. War Masters can do it. The extra speed for a War Master is appetizing. It's definitely appetizing.
24-inch move.
I still don't love the stratagem though. I would spend it on other things.
24-inch move iconoclast right there.
I don't know if your math is right.
No, his math is not right.
So
but
I don't know.
Okay.
So move
4 plus
right?
6 boosted plus 6 boosted.
8. There's another stratagem you can take to give them another +2 on the boost. So 8, right?
If you have points at that point, yeah.
So that's 20 inches.
You're playing with 6 points, so this is
Expect
so 4
to
plus
get
8
shut
plus 8.
to get thermal
Yeah,
mind.
4 plus 8 plus 8 is 20.
Oh,
you
it is
did
20.
12
That's
and
20.
added it again. Yeah, it's only 20. Now,
I see.
That's still impressive, but to me, if you're doing all that to be close combat, then you're neglecting some of the other things like Reaper's Tally. It's not going to help you because it doesn't work in close combat weapons.
Not true.
I think the problem there is this thing is cool when you can think of the perfect scenarios where it works. But you need that perfect scenario and those really good scenarios to make it work. I think otherwise you're spending, at least at a 1750 level, you're spending half of your command points to maybe get something cool. Maybe. I'd rather. There's other ones
and
I
at
think
that
are more
point,
useful.
Yeah. So
your War Master's only doing anything combative in turn 2 onwards. And, in response, what I would do, because at this point, I haven't moved yet with my army. When you've declared this stratagem, you do the stratagem. I now know what your game plan is to an extent, right?
Yeah.
You play stratagems, then you do orders. And I see, you're double moving. Great. And I, move my forces in a way that I'm spreading out. So you have, so you're going to have you have split targets for this guy when it's eventually your turn. And in my turn, I'm going to be surrounding you, getting rear shots, trying to avoid your weapons, because it is still a War Master. It still has 1/2 turns and a base move of 4.
And there's, I don't know.
It's going to be isolated and surrounded.
So not to rush through this, but I want Dave put out something really interesting, and I want to kind of reflect on that because you talked about, Dave, how the Reaper's Tally doesn't work on melee, right?
True. It does not.
And yet there's a war gear. So the next thing on the list is a war gear. And the reason I'm skipping it, you'll see why in a second. There's a war gear called Remains of the Fallen, right? This is for the Legio Mortis. 20 points. And basically, if an enemy unit is within 8 inches of one or more of the Titans with this upgrade, subtract 1 from the command checks they make, right? This one's weird because you still want to be close. And if you're close, you want melee weapons, in my opinion. So it's weird that
Or Warhounds. If you
And
get
here's the
Warhounds.
other thing too with March of the Dead, right? That also means that I'm closer to you. So
Yeah.
I'm in my short ranges faster. Like you're paying points to make my game better for me.
There-
Maybe it's because I also play like an up close game
Yeah.
that I'm
yeah,
not
I was gonna
seeing
say,
the value
I
of it.
play up close games, so this helps me. That's
I
why
I,
I
I
play
th-
Bruiser. I play Bruiser Warlords. If I can get my Warlords up the field that much quicker, that helps me.
one last thing on it, and then I think we'll move on to the other parts of the war gear.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't know if you mentioned or not in that March of the Dead, if you use it, your opponent automatically becomes first player for the
Yeah,
round.
I did say that. Yeah, no,
Okay.
that your opponent becomes first.
That could also be a big distinction. Like, hey, I got some cool moves, but now you're gonna get to do the first thing each and every time. So you could fire first, you can shoot me later first, you can do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll move forward because we're
Yeah.
very undecided on that one, which is it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, the big feeling I'm getting with Legio Mortis is that they're meh. They're good,
Yeah,
but they're not.
they fit.
You
They-
play
they're
Mortis
fluffy.
for the fluff.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fit fluff well.
So I already mentioned Remains of the Fallen. Another war gear that they can take is War Master's Beneficence. Oh my god,
Oh, what a
Beneficence.
glow up. What a glow up.
Jesus Christ, Beneficence. Basically you pay 25 points, and this one I hate so much. It's just so bad. Once per game at the start of the strategy phase, a Titan with this upgrade can increase the strength value of a single weapon it is equipped with by 1, and that lasts until the end of the round.
This is so much better than it used to be. It used to be the same cost, but it was the first turn.
Ooh.
In
So at
case
least
you
now
forget,
you can decide
the
later.
first turn is when everybody has shield,
So, okay,
and
so
they
Yeah.
don't particularly care for your strength.
yeah.
Getting to use this in any turn makes it so much better.
And you know
Is it
what?
amazing? No, but there are plenty of times you want that extra bit of strength.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's 25
This
points.
is
And like I
nice.
said, every now and then you have that 40 points you need to spend or 50 points you need to spend. Boom, you just pop this twice on some people and you got like a strength 8 Gatling gun. Yeah, okay.
I like it more
It-
than
it-
Remains of the Fallen.
yeah, I like it more. Yes, absolutely.
It's only 5
Personal
points more.
traits.
That's not much.
All right, personal traits. Again, don't roll, choose. The first one is Rotten Hearts. This is a long one, too. When the Princeps Senior's Titan fails a command check to quell the machine spirit, it may choose to pass it instead. But if you do so, it increases the Titan reactor level by 2.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
What's the second part?
Listen, yeah, failing the machine spirit check sucks because you cannot choose what you do, but the reactor level by 2 also sucks. So,
Yeah.
again, you want to be put in a bigger Titan. You want a War Master or you want a Warlord. If the Princess Titan is corrupted and instead rolls 2 dice, re-rolling duplicates when rolling on the awakened entity, and you may choose the result. Now that I like. That I like. Because the corrupted Titan table is a little scarier than the machine spirit table.
It's double-edged, definitely.
It's double-edged, so I do enjoy that one a lot more because you get more bang for your buck. If you have but again, it's if you have a corrupted Titan. If you don't have a corrupted Titan, then don't bother, taking this one. Pitiless? I actually don't know how to. Pitiless? What the hell's that word?
Pitiless. It's
Pitiless.
lacking pity. Pitiless.
Yeah,
Huh,
Pitiless.
interesting. Pitiless. The Princeps Titan adds 1 to the strength of its weapons when targeting an enemy Titan that has suffered at least 1 point of critical damage. It sounds cool. Adding 1 strength, amazing, awesome. But for Christ's sake, if the thing already has critical damage.
It's probably already +3.
Hold on. As I say this, my brain.
It pairs with bolters beautifully.
Well, I was just gonna say,
As
hold
a
on.
finisher.
If you're not targeting that location, or if you have a blast weapon, this is sexy. So let's say you're shooting a Titan that has critical damage, but you're shooting a volcano cannon at it, right? Or you're shooting a Quake Cannon. The Quake Cannon's only strength 9.
It's like Quake Cannon, maybe
Right?
you need a Volcano Cannon. You don't need the extra.
Yeah, but Quake Cannon's only strength 9. Or let's say you're shooting a Plasma Cannon and you don't want to target. Now that's strength, that's strength 11. That's nice. Now you're volcano cannon strength essentially, or maybe volcano cannon. It's good. I like it. It's not the best. It's meh. Ancients of Terra. When the Princip Titan must roll in the reactor overload table, he only ever rolls a d6, even if the reactor status marker is in the red hole. I don't like this
Ooh.
one. I
Well,
don't like
this
this one
would
at all.
save you
No.
because
This
you
is
run
nice
so hot all the time.
because if
Um,
you are doing if you are danger, if you are in the danger zone, this keeps you in the fight instead
Yeah.
of risking an
I see.
immediate
Okay.
catastrophic meltdown.
Yes.
Okay.
As a
Because normally,
player
if you're
who has
on red,
said
you
you've
roll
destroyed your own
D10.
Titans, this matters to you.
Multiple times.
This should be the one. This should be the one that you actually like.
Yeah, but I love seeing the Titans go nuclear and then wiping out my foe.
They have to get there
Um,
first.
yeah, has to get there first.
Where
No, but I
do
like
they
it.
go?
Like I said, the Legio Mortis. They look. First of all, their paint scheme is amazing. I do like their paint scheme a lot.
Their paint scheme's the
And
best
again,
thing about them.
they're not weak. They're just
They're fluffy
meh.
but not strong. That's
yeah.
all.
It's not that they're not strong. It's just
When I compare it to other rules, I don't think
yes,
they are.
exactly. Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean,
I'll put it this way:
play what you
to
want.
compare it to 40k or to compare it to Sigmar, you're not playing Gloomsky Gits when you're playing Mortis. You're
Gloomspire
more
Gits.
playing. Oh, what I say?
Gloomspike.
Gloomspike Gits, right? What's the shitty army in Sigmar?
I think it's
that's
Gloomspire
A
Gets.
mushroom guy.
No, it's Gloomspite. It's Gloomspite.
Gloomspite. I don't. One of those two. Now I gotta go
Well,
look it up.
you're not playing Gloomspike Gits with Mortis. You're playing more
That's what
like
you did. Use the Gloomskite. That's what it was.
yeah, it's
I'm gonna
Gloomspite.
look
Yeah,
this.
you're not playing the Gloomspite. You're playing more fucking I don't know OCR Bone Reapers. They're not the greatest. They're not the worst.
Oseric Bone Reapers are also on that list where they get bonuses for killing things because they're
Shit.
terrible.
Okay, never mind. Point is, they're okay. All right, let's go. This one I like more. Now,
Yeah,
talking
Gloomspite
about
too.
glow up.
Sorry.
Talking about glow up. Holy shit, this Legion. All right, so this Legion, I'm going to little story time. This Legion sucked big time when they first came out. They were awful.
It was so bad. I wanted to play Krytos. It was so
they
bad.
were
I
bad.
didn't.
Now, let me explain to you why they were bad, ladies and gentlemen. They have wonderful rules, excellent rules when it comes to blowing up buildings. No one uses those rules. No one uses it. Destructible terrain is really interesting because if you play Krytos and you play destructible terrain, you can quite literally blow up buildings with the easiest of ease and then target the Titan that is now hiding behind it, right? Excellent play for Krytos. No one plays with destructible terrain, so you're absolutely useless, right? Absolutely useless. It felt bad. It felt bad. These guys completely changed in the trainer book. And for good reasons. So we're going to talk about these. These are Legio Krytos, the God Breakers. These guys are Perturabo's Legion, Legio, if you will. These guys are the premier artillery kind of. Oh, is that a city? I'd like it to now be a parking lot, Legio. These guys fought very heavily alongside the Iron Warriors. They're also traitor, of course, because they're siegers. They are literally siegers. Again, they fight with the Iron Warriors. They fought in a bunch of different battles. Let me see here. What battles did they fight? The Beta Garmin cluster, of course. And Beta Garmin, that was basically where Talarn was a beautiful, beautiful forest, lush, beautiful world, and now it's a desert. That was Krytos. Krytos did that.
So you're saying they paved paradise and put up a parking lot? That's what you're saying.
Yes, essentially, they turned into 100%. A desert.
Dan has no idea. That's a song.
Oh, is it really?
It's a lyric in a song.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone out there is like, "Huh, I got that," and Dan wasn't one of those.
Me, I'm like, I will point out that their color scheme is actually one of my favorites, though. It is teal.
It always seems to go that way.
And teal is such a good color sometimes, and they got like a nice teal color. And our friend Brett, I don't even know if he listens to the podcast, but if he does,
he
does this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think he sold it. I want to say he sold it, but he had this absolutely gorgeous, and I kind of wish I bought it. Krytos Legion, where he used a very light teal with some orange weathering. Like rust red. It was just fucking beautiful. Jesus Christ.
That pops.
Oh, it was beautiful. I wish I had pictures. I do have pictures. I do have pictures. Dave, I'll send it to you for the YouTube. I forgot that I had pictures from years ago of that.
All right.
I will absolutely send that to you now that I'm thinking about it. All right, so let's go over the God Breakers. Um, so first of all, they have one Legio trait. They have two stratagems and a war gear. Ooh, look at that! They mix it up. So Legio trait, Doom of Worlds. So when fielding an Axiom Maniple or a Myrmidon Maniple, so you have to field these two. A Legio Krytos player may take a Warlord Titan in place of a Reaver Titan as part of the Maniple's mandatory components. So, I mean, there's more to that, but first let's break that one down. So, Axiom Maniple, remember, is one Warlord, one Reaver, and up to, I think, two Warhounds. You can
Warlord,
take
Reaver, Hound is the base.
Yeah, and then
Warlord, Reaver,
extra
Hound,
Reaver,
and then
Warhound is
extra
the
Reaver,
option.
extra
Extra-
Hound.
Yeah.
So, you can replace both Reavers with Warlord. I mean, you might not have the points,
Just
but
one.
those-
A
One.
Warlord.
oh, a Warlord.
A.
Oh,
Says
okay.
A.
Not any. It's A.
Oh, okay.
They
But still,
do just
Warlord,
have a distinguishment in the
two
language they
Warlords,
use.
a
But yeah.
Reaver, and two Warhounds is how I run my Regia Maniple anyway, so that's really nice. When fielding a an Myrmidon Maniple is what? That's three Warlords and a Reaver. That's like
Two Warlords and a Reaver.
Point is, yeah, so three Warlords. I don't know how the fuck you're fitting that, but it's still
Play a big
great.
enough game, you could fit it.
Yeah. When fielding a Regia Maniple, my favorite Maniple, or a Precept Maniple, a Legio Krytos Maniple may take a Warbringer Nemesis Titan in place of a Warhound. God, I wish I was Krytos just for this. A Regia Maniple with two Warlords, a Warbringer, and a Warhound is oh my god! And now remember, it's Regia Maniple shares in shield within 3 inches, so now you can have a Warbringer sharing with a Warlord.
No, not
Wait,
right.
oh, is there more to that?
As if it was a king or queen. The king and queen can't merge. The hounds can merge with the king and queen.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, you're
hounds
replacing the
can
Hound
merge
with
with
the
the new guy.
Warbringer. You're
Right.
replacing the
But if you
Hound.
Read the
keep
rest of the
read the
rule.
next sentence.
This is
Oh, one
always
Warbringer
the problem
Nemesis
you have. You get
with
excited
Regia
about rules, but you don't actually read the full
Oh
rule.
no, boo.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, Warbringer.
RTFM.
Yeah, TFM. Still a Warbringer with two Warlords and a Warhound. Still amazing. Still amazing. Um, in addition, when filling a
Basically,
Fortis
we have a
Maniple, Legio Krytos players may take a single Warlord Titan or a single Warbringer Nemesis Titan in place of a Reaver Titan as part of the Maniple's mandatory components. Essentially, they will trade up for a larger Titan when they can. That is their trait. Um, I like it.
they like the big
Yeah,
guns.
I like it. I'm not going to complain about this one.
Yeah.
I play Fureans with mostly large models.
It lets you
I
put like Warbringers in spots where normally you wouldn't. And since you can
War
sub
Warlord.
out, you might be able to play it in a little bit of a smaller game because otherwise you have to fill mana pool and then add it on unless you want to bring one of the specialized ones they have.
Yeah, no, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about the stratagems. They kept one of the I just realized they kept one of the stupid destroying terrain stratagems, which whatever. So first stratagem.
But it's a stratagem,
Yeah, and it's
which
cheap.
means you know before you
Yeah,
take it. Before it was a
it's true.
trait, which meant
Yeah,
half
before
your
we trade,
rules
you
you just
couldn't shoot it.
weren't
Now you
using.
can. So if you're playing with destructible terrain size, so Legio specific stratagem. This one is 3. So on cue with the most expensive stratagems here. Civilization's Ruin. This stratagem can be purchased by an Legio Krytos player. You reveal the stratagem in any strategy phase. For the duration of that round, enemy units hit by an attack, just hit by an attack, made by any friendly Legio Krytos player with a weapon with the Quake trait suffers the effects of the Quake trait, even if the hit was deflected by the shield. Holy shit. Now I should continue on because it says the stratagem does not affect Legio Krytos Titans issued with a split fire order, even if the order was issued after the stratagem was played. So you can't split fire your Warbringer with a Quake cannon on the top and two volcano. You can't do that, or two Quake cannons in two separate directions. But
Yeah.
quaking something through a shield is fucking nuts.
Big.
That is
big.
nuts. So I'll use myself as an example. I play a very bruiser-heavy, short-range fighting, knife fighting list with my Fureans. If I get quaked on the first turn, I am fucked. With a capital fucked. Because that fucks up my move. That what is it, half move also as well? Correct me
Your
if I'm
your
wrong.
move is cut. Your move is cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
no. Oh my God. Yeah, no.
You
I'm
don't get
fucked on.
concussed, but you do
No,
get
no.
quaked.
No. I know. Quake. Yeah,
Just a
no.
quake.
You're moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot move anywhere. 2-inch
Well,
warlords.
you go you go half speed. Each inch counts as 2.
Well, that's the same. 2-inch
Now
warlords. What am
you
I supposed to?
don't get turned around because that's a
No,
concussive
no. You
rule.
don't
You're
get turned
only
around. No, no.
quaked,
But
but
still,
it takes away your opponent's momentum
and that's
in a
on
big
turn.
way.
Doing this on turn 1, or just really any. Oh no, this Reaver's gonna charge me. No, you're not. Like that's pretty damn great to play that stratagem all of a sudden and just quake someone if before someone gets charged is amazing. I love this. I like this stratagem. I'm not going to take it every game because you have to build for it, obviously, because you have to have a quake weapon,
You can have
right, for it
several
to
if you're
work.
buying this one. It's 3 points.
Yeah, you have to have several, but it is something. And but you know what? You're taking Warbringers instead of normal. Warbringers have quake cannons on the top of them, so you could have absolutely you can build towards this. It's not hard. You're not as limited as the people, but it's a stratagem. If you have like 2 or 3 quake cannons in your list, and you see someone with like melee reavers, fucking play it. Where are they going? They're going nowhere.
No, great. It's good.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but if you build for it, you could have fun with it.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Now, I should point out, oh, sorry, Steve, did you want to add to this before I go to the next one?
I mean, I think you covered it pretty well. Just cutting down your opponent's speed it's big. In a game like Titanicus, it can really make a difference. Like
In a
against me,
game
this
of
would be huge
movement,
because my game is about moving, trying to flank you, and getting charges off. If you have my speed, I'm not getting charges. It's
good
big.
question.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm realizing a quake cannon is a large blast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If I'm facing off against a warhound maniple, and they're all
Mm-hmm.
bunched together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that quake pass to the entire fucking thing that I just hit?
Did you
Like
hit
if I
all their
strike
titans?
3, yeah, it's a large blast, and they have to be touching to share shield.
Enemy units hit
If
by
they're
an
if they're
attack.
sharing shields, yeah, as long as
Yeah.
you're actually touching them by the time it's done, yeah.
Oh God. So so if like 3 of them are touching and sharing shields, and that large blast hits and doesn't deviate,
Yeah.
you just quaked 3 warhounds with 1 shot.
Yeah, because it doesn't say anything about the hole is the part that does. It's just, essentially they were hit. Yeah, as long as they're hit,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't scatter off of them. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I like this a lot. And it's easier to build towards. You could ignore it if you want, but why? This is a pretty cool thing. Also, it has to do something with the war gear as well. We'll get to the war gear in a second. You also have a 1 CP stratagem. This one is one you can buy if you're playing with destructible terrain. This is the only time you take it. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Krytos player. Reveal the stratagem in the strategy phase. For the duration of the round, when targeting terrain, you get 2 to your strength of your weapons. In addition, all Legio Krytos Titans reduce the strength of hits suffered as a result of dangerous terrain by 2. So the last part, whatever, who cares? Don't play
First
with
part,
dangerous terrain ever. But
Scatterable mines.
true, okay,
They
true,
got
true.
nerfed, but they're annoying to play with. But
Okay,
they
okay.
are very
Um,
strong.
but no, adding 2 to the strength of weapons against buildings. So for those who don't know the building destruction rules, essentially the idea is that your building has an armor value it's not codified in the book. Um,
This is why no one plays it, by the way, because it's not
exactly,
codified.
it's not codified. Yes, that's the
There's
problem.
no guidelines even
There's
like
no
is a
guideline,
building armor 5 or armor 10 like as a
or is it 12?
typical
But the
building.
idea is if you roll on the building and you get a normal hit on it, that's not it has to be just a normal damage on it. On a roll of 5 up, the building is just gone. And if you get a critical hit on it, so that's something I think it's above 4 its value, then on a 3 up it's gone or a 2 up it's gone as such. Essentially, this makes it easier to remove terrain off the board. This is again, if you're playing with destructible terrain, you take the stratagem. That you literally, it's 1 point, you take it because there are so many times during this game, especially with movement, where someone's hiding behind a building that you
And
need
you
to
could fix
blow
it.
up, and you just
You could
go,
fix that problem.
yeah, you could just literally fix that problem with a Vulcan Mega Bolter. You know, it's to just tear the building apart. So yeah, yeah. But it's very situational, but hilariously great. The war gear, the one that everyone shit their pants over. Earthbreaker missiles. A Legio Krytos warlord or Reaver Titan that is equipped with the Apocalypse missile launchers or an Apocalypse. What? Oh, because the S. It's plural. So a warlord's. I was like, wait, did they just copy and paste? No. So if the warlord is equipped with Apocalypse missile launchers, or the Reaver is equipped with an Apocalypse missile launcher, you can take an Earthbreaker missile upgrade for 25 points or 15 points, respectively. 25 for the warlord, 15 for the Reaver. What this does is when firing the Titan's Apocalypse missile launchers, the player can choose to either use its normal profile, meh, or reduce its dice value to 4 for a Warlord Titan or 2 for a Reaver Titan. So now you go from 10 to 4 or 5 to 2, right? However, you now give it the damn Quake trait. Also, the Earthbreaker missiles are now strength 5 when shooting terrain.
No.
Reading is
Increased
fundamental,
by 5.
Dan. Reread that last line.
Increase their strength by 5.
By
Holy
5, not
shit.
2-5.
Right.
2-5
I'll
is,
get to that in a
is
moment.
nothing.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, hold on. Holy shit, I didn't even, oh my god. So I will get to that in a moment. First of all, missiles having Quake. So if you, let's say you don't want to spend 3 points making your Quake, pass through shields. Too expensive for you. Fuck it. Make your missiles do it. Oh no, your Warhound stripped the shield off this Reaver? Okay. Quake it. Split fire and quake that motherfucker. Like this is, I think, a really, really stupid good trait. Because guess what? You can also now quake knights. Right? Let's say you don't take a quake cannon. That sucks. And you're facing a knight player. Oh no, this fucking sucks. And we know a couple knight players, right, Steve? Oh no, he's got a bunch of lancers coming in. How can I stop these poor lancers from? Okay,
Oh,
I'm
idea.
gonna,
Make them move 6 inches a turn instead of
I'm gonna
12.
toss a single missile his way. Actually, not even a single. I'm gonna shoot 4 missiles his way, hitting on 2s. Okay. Fun fact: Apocalypse missile launchers are barrage. So, okay, I hit you on a 4. Now you're quaked.
Yeah, it's
Like,
nice.
it's super nice.
It covers the weaknesses of an inherently big Titan army because it goes, I can't move, but you know what? Fuck you. You can't move
Neither
either.
can you, asshole. I'm not moving, but neither are you. Yes, going back to the missile, you increased your strength by 5. So strength 9 against a building. The book does give a rule, and I want to say it says the building armor value is. Dave can look it up.
I've never seen this rule.
I don't know any of the building rules whatsoever. But here's the thing: who cares?
It's literally at the
Go
end.
fire this building. Fire
They
the
give
Titans.
values for assets.
Yeah,
They
But
give
it does
assets
give you
values,
a
but not
normal
building.
armor value. It says it's either 10, 11, or 12. It doesn't go
Sure.
above 12, though. It does not go above 12. So increasing your missile to strength 9 means that all you need to do is roll a 3 up and then a 5 up, or you need to roll I do math here, a 5 up into a 3 up, which I think is the same statistic then, right?
Did you say 3 into 5 and then 5 into 3?
Statistics professor. So if you're increasing it to, and you have 4 dice, you can either roll 3 ups and then need those 3 ups to go into 5 ups, or you need those 4 dice to hit 5s to then go into 3s. Which I think doesn't change.
You're talking about the same amount of dice either way, though. You're throwing 4 dice both
Yeah,
times?
exactly. I was going to say, I think it's the same way. So yeah, you're the same. So yeah.
Right.
Yep. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's 25 points.
Honestly, with that, I wouldn't even. I still don't care about the fact that they can destroy terrain. Fire that at something. You now have strength 9. It's more useful.
Terrain,
Yeah, but don't care about destructible terrain. Yeah, it's better for a rule that no one's going to use. You can use it now to hurt someone's Titans.
Exactly.
Or like I said, or
Quake or Knights. Knights, I would absolutely use it against Knights.
Yeah.
The one reason I stick a Quake cannon on literally every one of my, at least one Quake cannon on every one of my games is just in case I face knights. Literally as a just in case.
Yeah.
This solves that problem. Personal traits.
Mm-hmm.
Godlike contempt. Awesome name. I love the names of these. Prince of Titan may still make a command check even if another friendly unit has already filled its command check. Okay, that's good. I like it. Maybe you don't have an axiom.
Yeah.
You fail a command check. He still does it if he needs to. It's meh. It's okay. World Bane. Any blocking terrain destroyed by a Princeps Titan becomes dangerous terrain if it is not. It was not already. So remember, when buildings get destroyed, they don't become dangerous. They become difficult.
Sure.
Dangerous terrain is something else, and I don't
literally have
know
never
what
read
dangerous. Never read it. I do know
So
it does
it's
damage
like
to
the
you.
more you move through it, the stronger it is, and it generates a single hit against your legs.
Okay.
It's basically it's a punishment to light titans, but big titans don't
Yeah, I
really
think
care.
the more inches you pass through the dangerous, it hurts. I don't think knights ignore dangerous. I know they ignore
They
difficult.
do.
They ignore
Agile
dangerous
lets them
as
ignore.
well.
Yep.
Yep.
You sure
Don't
it's
cover
Pretty
dangerous
sure
and not?
they
the
do.
terrain.
Okay.
Yeah. They get both.
Okay. And then Path of Iron, Iron within, Iron without. The Prince of Senioris may make a single smash attack during the movement phase, provided it is against an enemy model of lower scale than itself. Stop the Titan when it comes within range of a target and resolve the attack, then complete its movement as normal. When making these kinds of smash attacks, the Titan may move through models of scale 3 or less, provided they can completely cross the enemy model's base. This attack does not prohibit the Titan from making attacks the following combat phase. I love this.
Just
Let
do a
me explain
drive-by.
why. Again, according to yeah, not only well, okay, so you drive by, which is already hilarious as it is. One of the worst things that can happen to you as a bigger knight or bigger titan is that someone base blocks you, especially with knights. You take 3 knights and you could literally just stop a warlord from moving. Congratulations, they don't do shit. But now your warlord could just be like, excuse me, step over them, punch them on the way through, give them a smash attack is what D3 or what's a warlord scale 10 D3
D3
strength.
strength scale +1.
Oh, plus
Yeah.
1. So D3 strength 11 hits on the knights you just decided to walk over. They're not blocking shit. Yeah, I like it.
You may not, but on a warlord,
And
you
it
might
doesn't
not be hitting anything either because you're on 5s.
True.
Yeah, 5s to hit.
True.
Yeah.
It's a cute rule. I think that if you want to do something silly, it plays into it nicely. I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to pick this trait up because I think it's fun. Like, you have to have at least a hint of a plan for
I
it.
got this. Double melee
I actually
warlord.
like it on Reavers.
Double melee warlord. Let's go. Double melee
I
warlord.
like it a lot on Reavers because this pairs with a charge order. Nothing says you can't do this with a charge.
Oh,
So
very
you could charge and do 2d3.
Wait a minute.
for
Can you
smash.
charge and then maybe line up a side swipe on a Titan and then you continue
Yes.
the movement
Yes.
charge?
It says you
Smack a
can
Titan
keep
and then
moving
hit.
afterwards. Yeah, you can keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. I like. Okay. I like.
It's neat stuff. You have
I'm
to have a plan
Yes.
in your army composition for it,
Yeah.
but it's neat.
It's funny. I
None
like
of
it.
these are huge. I would probably use
No.
one of the default book ones if I wasn't doing something weird
Yeah.
for that last
No,
one.
most definitely. And that I
But
think
still
is
good.
it's going to be the unfortunate thing of most of these is the base ones in the book are just more universal for good use.
Yeah.
All right, Steve.
All right, Legio Fureans, the Tiger Eye. Fluff-wise, I know Dan's gonna be mad I'm not giving this as much coverage as he probably would. Essentially,
No.
they're from a Forge world that was falling apart. Its government kind of collapsed. It kind of splits into a bunch of factions. There's some Xenos that show up. It's a bad time. The Tiger Eyes are fighting for survival aggressively. They're not passively hiding in a fortress like, stay away, aliens. They're like, they're going out and they're hunting things down. But their strength is dwindling as a result of it because they're not stopping to rearm and everything. Luckily for them, the Great Crusade, it's a thing, it's happening. And the Iron Warriors, not known by the name yet, but the Iron Warriors drop down and they start a liberation campaign. Very bloody campaign. Lots of Iron Warriors died, but they do, in fact, manage to secure the Titans. And they get brought into the fold. They do weird things, though. They're very bellicose. They're always looking to go to war. But they're always a little late to actually reach the battlefield because they're doing all of these kind of like tribalistic rituals before and after battles, trying to appease to the many faces of the Omnissiah. And that kind of plays into the rules a little bit. So they have 2 traits, a stratagem and a war gear item, and they are all pretty nice things to have. So their first trait is called Machine Rage. And basically what this says is when you roll the reactor dice, you don't have a blank symbol. Your blank is your Titan goes crazy. You don't take the heat, but you do go crazy.
You
if
roll
you fail
for
the
it. You don't
command,
take a command check.
yeah. If you fail your command check, you don't randomly figure out what it is. You get to choose what you get. For a non-corrupted Titan. If you have a corrupted Titan, you roll twice and pick which of the 2 you want. So you have more control over it on a non-corrupted Titan, but you still get, some benefit on corrupted ones. I really like this rule because I like playing dangerously with the reactor die. I'll be dead honest, sometimes I push the reactor just to generate heat in hopes of blowing myself up if I'm in a bad situation. Or I'll push my reactor because I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'll manage to get an extra attack off by rolling a machine spirit symbol and then failing a command check and then rolling one of the results lets me attack. And that's with not Fureans. If I'm playing Fureans, I'm pushing my reactors every opportunity I get because getting to choose what I do means if it happens, I could choose to immediately repair. I could choose to immediately attack. I could choose to immediately move. These are all great options. So basically, it's like an extra little mini activation game that you could potentially be playing with that. Did I get anything wrong there, Dan?
It's a double-edged sword. It is fun to play around with, and I am guilty of trying to activate the machine spirit in case I'm about to die or something. So my favorite thing is like if I'm about to die or if I'm dying, I'll overload the reactor just to hopefully get that free shot out before he dies. Oh no, he's gonna target his body. You know what? I'm gonna do something to try to do something before. But
Now,
what sucks is if you don't want it to happen. So, like for example, one of the things I like to do stupidly is to run don't ever do this, by the way, is a triple volcano warbringer, right? Don't ever do it.
How many
But it's
times have
fun
you
as
run it?
hell.
That's what I
Out of
thought.
most of my games, like 30% of the time,
Oh my god.
a good 30%, I run it with the Arcus Maniple. So okay, he gets crazy at near the middle of the game or end of the game, fine. But if he goes crazy and you roll like a bad command check at the very, very beginning, you can't do anything. Remember, it's not like, oh, okay, I failed my command check. I'm going to choose to fire one of my weapons. All right, I'm going to fire the rest of my weapons now. That's not how it works. You do one
that
thing
action ends. So if
yeah,
it's
that
a move, your move ends. If
ends.
it's,
If
pushing your
combat,
shield, well, you still get your shield pushed. That's nice. So
yeah,
it's great for when you're getting attacked.
like I said,
When you're attacking,
it's
the weapon
situational.
stops.
It's
So you pick that weapon to make an attack with, or you pick another weapon that you want to double up on anyway. So, for example, if I have a warlord and I shoot the missiles and I don't knock out shields, right? And it's like a double bellicosa, the default warlord from the starter box, right? I fire my first bellicosa and I happen to get the machine spirit and I happen to roll a 1 or 2 and fail my command check. But as target shields are out, great. Forget the bellicosa. I'm shooting my missiles a second time.
I should
And
put
then
out
the other bellicosa.
well, no, you can't
Or
shoot
if the
the
shields
missiles.
are
The
out,
activation ends.
no. you have 2 Bellicosas.
Oh,
Right? The
dude,
2 Bellicosa missile warlord, right? Like the starter box warlord.
oh,
The
got it.
first
Now
one,
I'm understanding. Okay.
right? You don't take out if you somehow don't get the shields knocked out first, and you happen to roll Machine Spirit symbol. Oh no, my firing sequence ended. Oh wait, I'll shoot my missiles again. Or you pick the weapon that you failed the check with as the weapon you use for the attack,
Exactly. But
and you
you're
pick
hitting
the one where
worse.
you attack.
You're hitting worse.
That's
You're hitting with
okay.
a 4-up,
It's a
but
blast weapon. It's a
so yeah,
blast
you
weapon.
give
It's
a
fine.
shit. It's it. I've had it. The problem. So I've had it been annoying and I've had it been amazing, and it's about equal 50-50 on that. I've had it where it's like, well, fuck,
It
stop rolling
makes it
blanks and failing. This is getting annoying because I actually want to do something with the Titan.
it
Um,
makes it difficult to push for movement,
yes,
which
Yeah.
makes some of the maniple traits that give you free movement pushes a little more valuable to a Fureans player than to other players. So
yes,
people say are like, I don't care if I push my reactor on a Reaver. I mean, I just go a little faster, whatever. Fureans, they can actually get shut down by it if they want to
yeah.
move. Because
And I
remember,
have been.
pushing for speed happens at the beginning of your movement, not the end of your movement. So if you want to go fast, you need to hope you don't get that 1 in 3 and fail the test.
Yeah,
So corrupted titans are going to suffer under this if they're trying to
absolutely.
move. Pivots, you can do at any point in the move to push for additional pivots. So that's a little less risky, but still, it slows you down a little bit. All right. The next trait, many faces of the Omnissiah. So basically, they see the machine god in all these little aspects of everything. And they take a moment at this, before the battle begins to contemplate how the Omnissiah is in every piece of machinery and how incredible that is. And it kind of gives them this laser focus they gain, and they just get these insights. So in the first round of the game, any Titan from this Legio can give up its activation in either movement or the combat phase. If it does nothing for that phase, it gains 1 die that it could use later in the game to re-roll anything related to that Titan. You could re-roll a shield, you could re-roll a hit, you could re-roll a damage, and I think you could even re-roll catastrophic damage for
Yes,
yourself.
and it's any die you want.
Yup. And what I think is interesting is this does count as activating the Titan, right? Like you activate the
Yes, you
Titan
can't.
to forego the activation. So you
Yes, you have to
can
forego it.
play the what's it called? The activation, like the null activation game with this. Whereas I'm of the opinion you cannot play null activation games with emergency repairs.
You cannot. You actually, I think they FAQ'd this. I'm not going to find it, but I'm almost like 1,000% certain that you can't just be like, you literally have to do nothing. You have to activate it and you have to
I
say,
activate this Titan, it does nothing. Yep.
I'm done. You don't touch it. You don't look at it. Now, remember, you can do this for the movement phase and also the shooting phase of the first turn. So you can
For 2 dice.
rack up 2 dice, essentially. Um, but yeah, it's you sacrifice that phase. It is very specific. You don't look at it, don't touch it. You point to it. You say, "I am doing whatever fucking freaky ass." These guys are known for like their weird ritualistic nonsense. I'm doing whatever freaky ass ritualistic nonsense I'm doing. Leave me alone, and I get it, and I get a reroll.
I think this would be really nice with the dire wolf. Um, Way back when we first saw the dire wolf, previewed, Dan and I were talking a lot about how this with the neutron laser could be a big deal.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't get the hit, you could try again to hit. If you don't get the damage, you can try again for the damage. If you don't get the shutdown, you could try again for the shutdown.
1,000%.
It's a scary combo.
Keep the
And it
dire
has the
wolf back.
range, and it has the range
Yeah.
where it
Keep,
does not need to move in the first turn.
keep the dire wolf back for turn 1, literally, because remember you can't do anything for turn. You keep it back. You gain 2 reroll dice. Turn 2,
You
go
pop
nuts.
out, shoot. Turn 3, move, shoot. Yeah, it's a nice trait. Yes, losing activations sucks,
Big suck.
but you get a reroll for
Just don't make sure you're not
anything.
playing this wrong. You have to activate the Titan. You can't just be like, all right, activate again because he doesn't do anything. No, it's you activate him, he does nothing. Now it's your opponent's turn. It still
Mhm.
counts as going back to you.
Which
You
honestly
know,
is stronger because it lets you null activate, see your opponent's actions, and then respond with other Titans later if you need.
yeah,
I like this a lot.
yeah.
All right. Their stratagem is called Offensive Surge. It's a 3-pointer, and what it does is it lets you fire one of their weapons a second time at the cost of 1 heat. And this goes across one of your mana pools. So obviously, with this, you would want to gear up for one bigger mana pool instead of like say 2 demi mana pools. This is very nice for that turn where you need things to die. Dan made excellent use of this against me once when he brought a War Master, a bunch of Warhounds. The Warhounds did extra bolter shots, making sure my shields were out, and then the War Master just made sure my shit was dead. Like, dead,
Good.
and then a little more dead. It is expensive, and it costs heat, in addition to the cost of stratagem points. This is one that you definitely look at in big games, and you could consider for medium games. It doesn't scale as much as the Mortis 3-pointer does, but it is still nice.
One thing I want to point out, and this is a good trick with the stratagem, is that it doesn't you. You don't have to shoot that weapon immediately, right? So I'm going to use a warlord for example. Let's say I use my Apocalypse missile launchers, right? Blow out your shields. I shoot you with a plasma cannon, and then I shoot you with let's say I have dual plasma cannons, and I shoot you with both plasma cannons, and I really hurt that body. Let's say they both hit the body. I can go back to the Apocalypse missile launchers and shoot them again. I don't have to go Apocalypse, Plasma. I can go Apocalypse, Plasma. I can go Apocalypse, Plasma, Apocalypse. I can go. The point I'm trying to make is it's you just select the weapon and fire it again.
Yep.
It's a non-sequential. That's the wrong word.
Basically, as you're going, you can say, this weapon, let's do it another time. But
Let's
at
do
any
that
point, it's
again.
like, let's circle back. Yeah. It's a very nice ability to have. It's one of those, again, like everything in Fureans is a win, I feel.
Yeah,
No,
seriously,
Their
absolutely.
war gear, this war gear is so lovely. The hunting
also,
aspect.
one more thing with the stratagem. Hold on, moment. You need to.
Okay.
This is the big. You need to play it at the right time.
They
This
play in
took.
the
Yeah.
command
This,
phase. So fun fact,
oh my
this
god! Yeah.
don't give a shit about no Vox blackouts.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's gross.
The amount of times I fucked up this stratagem by either playing it too early, playing it too late, being voxed blacked out. Because it's you do this in any combat phase, so this avoids vox blackout,
Yeah.
right? This completely avoids vox blackout. Um, what this doesn't avoid though is you fucking up your timing. So like if you play this too early, oh wow, my entire mana gets to fire again. Except who gives a shit? Maybe they're out of range. You fucked up your ranges, or you play it too early and you do a bunch of damage, but you didn't need to do damage. Anyway, point is you need to time this one correctly. That's the hardest use of this stratagem. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. And then their war gear, the hunting aspects.
Yes.
Essentially, at longer ranges, you get to ignore 1 point of to hit penalties. At over 12 inches away, you can ignore 1 to hit penalty point.
Mm-hmm.
So it means they could shoot things that are behind light cover at full effect, heavy cover at only -1. They could do targeted shots at long ranges with only -1 to hit, which is pretty nice. When I look at this, it's a 20-point upgrade, so it's a little pricey, but not terribly expensive, because it does work on all of your weapons. So it's a it's a thing you buy once. Across a fully stacked maniple, it's only 100 points. For five copies of it. On Warhounds, it's proportionally dense. On Warlords, you kind of just do it and forget about it. This does go next with laser blasters because it puts them at 3s to hit instead of 4s at longer ranges. I want to try this in a precept maniple because if you run the Warlord up and keep Warhounds back as support instead of being up front, kind of reverse the normal play, push up the Warlord turn 1. Have your Warhounds do their weird little rituals. Turn 2, you pounce. And you use the Warlord is going to give the Warhounds +1 to hit when they target units within 12 inches of the Warlord, because it's a precept maniple. So now Warhounds are BS 2 up, essentially, and ignoring a point of hit penalty. It's got some nice pairings. This also goes really nice with that neutron laser on the Porker Borker, the Direwolf. Because again, ignoring 1 point of hit penalty is very nice. It means you could do targeted on 4s, or hit on 3s, or 2s if it's in light cover. 3s if it's in light cover, 2s if it's in light cover and within 30 inches. Like it's a nice piece of war gear.
It's part of what, in my mind, and we might run across some other Legios that I feel differently about, but it's part of what, in my mind, makes them like the strongest Legio.
Yeah.
You can fire your guns again, one of them, and one of the big things in this game is ranges and penalties and trying to get cover and all that, and they essentially ignore it. Not entirely, obviously, but to a large extent.
This works on it's not just cover, it's any hit.
Oh no, I know.
Too.
But it's like
so
usually
like
you
they
have
can
either
target better
penalties or cover.
Ignore strategy. Yep. If you do a the blind fire stratagem, it's a -2 to hit something, right?
Yeah.
Only -1 for you. So you could give yourself a -2 to get hit and only, suffer -1 shooting outwards. That's one way to do it. Or the inverse, you could neuter an opponent's to hit chances on their Titan, but hit them at a soft -1 penalty. Like there's a lot of ways to run that war gear, and none of them are wrong.
Just make sure you stay 12 inches away.
That's yes, you have to stay at least 12 away.
Which
it's an interesting restriction. It's an interesting restriction. I don't think it's the worst, but it is something you have to keep yourself honest on.
Run into it a couple times with smaller maniples. Again, this is also because I run bigger units, or not bigger units, bigger Titans. If you're running against quicker maniples, this does become a problem because they just literally need to get 11.9 inches away from you, and you can't really target anymore. It takes away that ability. It's not bad, but it's also not good. But it's an excellent war gear. It is an excellent war gear.
Yes.
Just realize to stay away from 12 and you should be good. To be fair, I've only put this. I never put this on my Warhounds. Never put this on my Warhounds. No. I don't even think I put this on my Reavers because Reavers are always duking out. I don't even think I put this on my Warlords because my Warlord with the plasma and the laser blaster. Oh no, yes, the plasma and the laser blaster I do. But
the laser blaster you do.
So it's basically a 20
that
point
native -1.
That laser blaster. That's it.
But the plasmas don't mind it.
He gets close. What I really use this for most of the time is usually my Volcano Cannon, Quake Cannon, Apocalypse Missile Launcher Warlord, or a Warbringer that's sitting in the back sniping. I will put this on the Warlord with the Plasma, Gatling, and Laser Blaster, mostly to stop the penalty from the Laser Blaster, which is really good. That's what makes the Laser Blaster really good. Also to target, because that Warlord's usually up front bruising, and so if I need to kill a target fairly quickly, I'll try to ignore that -1 for targeting. But again, that runs into the problem of he has to be so Warlord is scale 10, so he has to be 10 inches away to use the top guns.
Mm-hmm.
but outside of 12. So yeah, it's just you got to be careful with it. I've gotten better with positioning, and I've gotten way better with tactically using that stratagem, but it takes practice. It's not something you could just kind of push button and win. You need to know how to use it. I don't know if that made any sense.
Hmm. No, definitely. And then going through the traits really fast. Titan Stalker. When targeting enemy Titans within 8 inches, you could add 1 to armor rolls, provided that the target Titan has a scale equal or higher than your own. Essentially, you are good at taking down things that are bigger than yourself. So this is hilarious on a Warhound with bolters. They got under shields and in the rear for a +3, +4 if it's a coordinated strike. So really good in a Lupercal Maniple. It's also decent if a Reaver is going out hunting Reavers and Warlords, because this within 8 inches, that's that's your melee weapons, that's your Gatling weapons. It's nice if you're playing aggressively and running smaller Titans. The next one, Humardu Savage. When the Princeps Senior's Titan makes a smash attack, add 2 to the strength of the attack. Again, I like this on Warhounds because it brings them all the way up to strength 9 when doing a smash attack. Yeah, strength 9, which is not a bad place to be. It's also good on Reavers because it's up to strength 11. Warlord strength 13 is at the point where it's like, is this really necessary? The answer is no, it's kind of not.
No.
You're also probably missing with that smash
Yeah,
attack.
you're not going to hit them.
So it's not so hot. And your War Masters cannot be a Princeps, so doesn't help them either. So yeah, I'd say this is decent on if you have a Reaver or a Warhound as your Princeps and you'd like to play with charges a lot. Last but not least, maybe least, almost certainly the least,
Yes,
we
it
have
is.
Trophy Taker. This is just a way of saying, fuck you, you don't get to have your weapons back. If a weapon is disabled by this Titan using a smash attack or a melee weapon, it becomes 1 harder to fix that weapon. So basically, you can disable someone's plasma and make them fix on 6s only. Or like a melee weapon, push it from 2s to 3s to fix. It's just a little extra fuck you to someone. The problem is with those weapons, they're melee trait. You pick what you hit. And if you're in melee, you're probably gonna hit the body because that's what's the most effective thing to hit, or maybe the legs keeps them from running away. This is just toying with your food. And I don't think that any of their other rules reward them for toying with their food. So I don't see a reason to actually genuinely go for this, except to be silly.
Agreed.
So
I've had
I'm gonna
cases
add,
where
yeah.
I do go after someone's weapons because they're about to fire back at me and do all kinds of damage and everything like that. But in this case, no. I mean, there's better traits, and this Legio I think wants to be for a lot of their stuff outside of 12. You want to be able to use that. You want to be able to use your multiple shots with your stratagem and all of that. I think there's many better options than that one. All 3 of theirs
Yeah.
are kind of meh to me.
All their
So
traits want them to be in melee.
Yeah,
Everything else is nice for shooting.
yeah.
I'm gonna add one really funny combo that I've never used, but I do want to use eventually, and because it's a named Titan, so I don't use named Titans. You take Ibn Farouk. Um, Ibn Farouk's special rule is basically if you're targeting a Titan that's bigger than him. Now he's a Warhound, by the way, so if you're targeting a Titan bigger than him, so everyone else, he gets +2 to the armor pen roll. So you take Ibn Farouk, who's 200 points. You give him 2 turbo lasers, so that's 240. So now those turbo lasers are strength 10 when you shoot at something that's larger than you. Then you give him Titan Stalker. So he's shooting strength 11 turbo lasers.
Oh, that's so nice. What's his ballistic skill? Do you know if it's 2 or 3? Because some of
Two.
the legends have 2
Two.
ups.
Yeah,
2s?
he's a 2.
That's up.
Oh.
I mean,
So
Okay,
he's
okay,
shooting,
okay.
and you can give him hunting
Just to
aspects.
really lean in.
And then
Hunting
you
you
can
gotta
aspect,
give him one out.
precept maniple, just throw Warlord forwards, and do targeted shots on 2s with strength 11 turbo lasers.
I don't know what the precept is, but
It's the one where the Warlord has his hunting pack of Warhounds.
that's
But
right. Oh my
it turns out
god.
that the Warhound is the brain behind the operations the whole time. Because +1 to hit's a big deal. And you could essentially, hitting on 2s with a targeted shot is.
Because you'd have hunting aspects, which ignores 1. You're hitting on 2s, and you get +1 to hit anyway. So you're hitting on 1s become so -2 +2. And strength, targeted shots at 2s with strength 11.
As long as you're 12 inches away and the
Yeah.
target is within 12 of the Warlord in that maniple. But that is
That's Mandatum.
funny.
That's
Oh,
the spell.
Mandatum, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of. I apologize.
Princept
Mandatum,
is the
not
one where
Precept.
it's 2s for your
Oh,
command
that's
checks.
that's the other axiom.
Yeah.
That's the other axiom.
And then
So many
you can
words
play-
that are not my native language.
No,
so that's-
agreed.
And then if you want, you could just, and you don't even need to fucking shield break those things because hopefully you broke the shield before. Then if you want, play 3 stratagem points, and now you get to shoot 6 lasers at strength 11. Targeting.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's really funny.
Right.
That's it.
I am hitting that guy with Quake Mines in turn 1.
Exactly. Yeah. If you see Ibn Farouk ever on the field, you kill him.
If you
Yeah.
see a name Titan,
All
you gotta
right.
kill him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't take name titans for that reason.
All right, Legio
I
Vulcan.
Well-
thought about. I was looking at the book and I was like, "Wait a minute,
Okay.
hold on, hold the fuck up."
Okay. Let's take a look at the time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, look at the actual time. And tell him
11.
because it is currently
Oh, wow.
about to be midnight.
I blame Steve.
That's well, it's okay, but with it being midnight, maybe we get through 4 instead of 6, because we're going at a rate of about a half an hour for each of these.
That's fine.
Oops.
We'll call it here.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. If it takes longer, that's fine. But I know time-wise, I know some people have to be up in the morning and stuff like that. And we've now been recording for 3 hours and 8 minutes.
I didn't even realize.
Yep. And that's the first 4 Legios done. And to think originally, we thought we were going to get through 6 at a time. Obviously, we got nowhere near that. But more depth, more discussion, all of that's better. At this point, I do want to thank everyone for listening. If you're listening on the podcast side, thank you for that. I will say, though, for the YouTube side, I did put a call out to the community to essentially, if there's any pictures they're willing to share of the Titans that they've painted for these different Legios, that I'd be putting those up, and I have done that. So this is one of the ones where it actually might be very good to watch it on the YouTube side so you can see a lot of these just honestly beautiful paint jobs. I do want to thank everyone who did submit pictures and say it was okay to post those and all. I'm going to constantly be asking for those again, especially as we get to these other Legios. I do have one request though. I'm not as familiar with all your paint schemes as you are, obviously, the people who are doing those. So if you do post them, and I'll put a request up on the Facebook post where I do this, it's just to say what Legio it is. That really just helps me. The last thing I'd want to do is get it wrong, because maybe your color scheme, let's face it, some of these Legios are somewhat similar in color schemes. So I assume your color scheme is one way. It's actually a different thing. Wherever you found us, if you found us through any form of a podcatcher, if you found us on YouTube, anything like that, likes, shares, subscribes, all those sorts of things greatly help us be able to keep putting out content that we both love and we hope is useful for the community, that the community actually enjoys. On behalf of everyone here, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.